It was a bitterly cold morning in Dubuque, Iowa, on January 18th, 2024. The air was sharp with frost, and fresh snow blanketed the quiet suburban streets. Christy Fullman had been eagerly looking forward to this morning. She had recently undergone surgery and was finally cleared to leave home. Her first thought was to reconnect with her best friend, Jennifer Dazey, over their cherished morning ritual, a cup of coffee, just the two of them, chatting the hours away. As Christy pulled up near Jennifer's house, her mind buzzed with excitement about catching up. She parked in a neighbor's driveway to avoid blocking Jennifer's vehicles. She noticed Tyler's car and Nick's truck parked in front, but Jennifer's own car was strangely absent. Unconcerned, Christy navigated carefully across the snowy driveway toward the porch. As she opened the interior door, Christy froze. Standing awkwardly in the middle of the room was Jennifer's 28-year-old son, Tyler, completely naked. Embarrassed and shocked, Christy quickly retreated outside, assuming Tyler would notice her discomfort and retreat to his room. She texted Jennifer, nervously waiting outside, guessing her friend had stepped out briefly. After hearing a door close, Christy cautiously re-entered, expecting everything to now be normal. She stepped inside, still uneasy, and moved towards the couch. But before she could sit, her attention was drawn to a lump beneath a blanket nearby. Heart pounding, she moved closer, lifting the blanket to reveal Echo, Jennifer's beloved dog. Lifeless. Anxious thoughts surged through her mind. Christy frantically called Jennifer's name, hoping her friend was nearby, perhaps unaware of Echo's state. Silence echoed back. The familiar house suddenly felt ominously unfamiliar. Noticing Jennifer's purse, something her friend never left behind, she felt a chill run down her spine. Something wasn't right. With dread, Christy approached Jennifer's bedroom door, gently knocking at first, calling out softly. Hearing no answer, panic overtook her, and she pushed open the door. The room was dark, curtains drawn tight. It took a moment for her eyes to adjust, but then she saw clearly what she'd feared most. Jennifer was lying motionless, covered in blood, lifeless. At first, Christy desperately rationalized the sight. Jennifer had been battling a brain tumor and suffered seizures in the past. Perhaps something tragic yet medical had occurred, but the sheer volume of blood, splattered gruesomely across Jennifer's bedding and walls, told another, darker story. Overcome with horror, Christy called her boyfriend Ron, then dialed 911, her voice trembling and frantic as she explained to the operator what she'd found. "I think my best friend is dead," she sobbed into the phone, her back pressed firmly against the bedroom door, bracing it shut with her feet. The quiet of the house was deafening, the waiting torturous, until finally the sound of sirens pierced through the morning silence. Christy's life, and those of Jennifer's family, would never be the same. The police arrived swiftly at Jennifer Dazey home, their breath visible in the frigid Iowa morning air as they approached the eerily quiet house. Officer Miller knocked firmly on the door, hearing muffled sobs from inside. The door was unlocked, and as he entered cautiously, he saw Christy Fullman huddled on the floor, shaken and pale, her eyes filled with anguish and disbelief. "She's in there," Christy whispered, motioning weakly toward the bedroom. Miller proceeded cautiously down the hallway, stepping into Jennifer's dimly lit room. He immediately recognized the horrific truth of Christy's words. Jennifer lay lifeless on her blood-soaked bed, multiple brutal injuries visible, clearly inflicted by a sharp weapon. Beside her, the scene told of sudden, violent rage, something far beyond mere tragedy or illness. Officer Miller immediately secured the scene and began searching the rest of the house. Entering a nearby room, he found Tyler Dazey, Jennifer's 28-year-old son, seated motionless, staring blankly, wearing a vacant expression. Tyler's odd, detached demeanor immediately raised suspicion. "Tyler, what happened here?" Miller asked gently, approaching carefully. Tyler's response was chillingly detached. "She's a witch. You know how witches are," he murmured, eyes unfocused, gaze distant. Realizing Tyler might be in an altered state, possibly due to substance use, officers transported him to the hospital for evaluation. Yet toxicology screens returned only mild traces of THC, nothing to explain Tyler's bizarre behavior or the brutality inflicted upon Jennifer. Further investigation revealed abrasions on Tyler's right hand, fresh marks suggesting recent violence. Detectives soon uncovered additional unsettling clues scattered throughout the home. A tactical hatchet, carelessly abandoned on the bathroom shelf, carried Tyler's fingerprints. A knife holster and blades were discovered tucked inside a backpack in Tyler's room, further incriminating him. As forensic teams combed through the evidence, suspicion solidified around Tyler. Meanwhile, during interrogation, Tyler spoke cryptically of Jennifer practicing witchcraft, claiming she had placed dark spells upon him. Detectives pressed him, asking directly about Jennifer's horrific wounds. Witchcraft, Tyler repeated, emotionless. He never explicitly denied killing his mother, offering no defense aside from ramblings about curses and paranoia. Police quickly pieced together the grim scenario. Jennifer Dazey had arrived home around 10 p.m. the previous evening, captured clearly on her Ring security camera. Her murder occurred sometime in the quiet, chilling hours that followed, at the hands of her own son. As Tyler's bizarre claims reached public ears, his sister Kylie stepped forward, speaking openly online about her brother's long battle with schizophrenia and his repeated hospitalizations. "He's sick. He wasn't himself," Kylie argued vehemently on social media, pleading for compassion and understanding of Tyler's troubled history. Yet despite Tyler's psychiatric background, evaluations eventually concluded he was competent enough to stand trial. The defense struggled to counteract the overwhelming evidence, attempting unsuccessfully to cast suspicion toward Kylie, whose reaction upon learning of her mother's death had seemed oddly detached. But the jury found no merit in this alternate narrative. Amidst the mounting revelations and accusations, the tragedy was clear. A son, trapped by his mental illness, had committed an unthinkable act of violence against his mother. As the trial loomed, Tyler's silence and cryptic explanations offered little solace to those who knew and loved Jennifer. Instead, they were left grappling with haunting questions about how such a tragedy could have been prevented, and how a beloved mother's life ended so violently at the hands of the child she had once lovingly raised. July arrived with heat and tension, thickening the air of Dubuque, Iowa, as the trial of Tyler Dazey commenced. Tyler himself, however, chose a strange route, refusing outright to participate in the proceedings. In a chilling letter dated July 12th, he wrote cryptically of slavery and honor, declaring that his mother would prefer he seek redemption through God rather than face judgment in a court he didn't recognize. Inside the courthouse, despite Tyler's absence, the mood was heavy. Jennifer's family sat quietly, faces etched with sorrow and disbelief, while Christy Fullman tried to remain composed, haunted daily by memories of that horrific January morning. Each piece of evidence laid before the jury painted an unmistakable picture. Tyler's fingerprints on the hatchet, his bizarre claims of witchcraft, and a home free from signs of forced entry. The prosecutor meticulously dismantled any notion of doubt, making clear the devastating reality of Tyler's actions. Yet Tyler's defense team fought fiercely, attempting desperately to cast uncertainty on the investigation. They brought forward footage suggesting Tyler's sister Kylie reacted strangely when informed of her mother's death. Her calm demeanor, punctuated by unsettling laughter, raised whispers and questions in the courtroom. Kylie bravely stepped forward to address these suspicions publicly, passionately defending herself and her brother online. She detailed Tyler's extensive psychiatric history, pleading for understanding and criticizing the mental health care system for failing him. "My brother isn't evil," she insisted. "He was sick. Our family needed help that never came." But her defense did little to sway the jury. After careful deliberation, the verdict returned swiftly and decisively: guilty of first-degree murder and guilty of animal abuse for Echo's tragic death. Tyler, indifferent, remained absent, seemingly lost within the shadows of his troubled mind. Outside the courthouse, life moved painfully onward. Kylie and Nick faced immense grief, the weight of losing their mother compounded by the heartbreaking reality of their brother's actions. Kylie continued advocating fiercely online, transforming her personal tragedy into a call for better mental health care, hoping no other family would experience similar devastation. Jennifer Dazey, remembered warmly as a vibrant spirit who dreamed of traveling to all 50 states, would never fulfill her ambition. Friends and family honored her legacy, trying desperately to remember her laughter, warmth, and resilience rather than the cruel circumstances of her final moments. Months later, as the community tried to heal, unanswered questions lingered. How had society overlooked Tyler's mental anguish for so long? Could Jennifer's murder have been prevented had he received proper care? For now, Dubuque mourned silently, wrestling with the grim lessons hidden within this tragedy. They hoped Jennifer's story could spark meaningful change, an urgent reminder of the consequences when cries for help go unanswered.